观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看《对话好莱坞》，我是肖云。雨人在1988年上映之后呢，轰动了全球，并且在1989年的奥斯卡奖上获得了最佳原创剧本。那么，类似雨人以及这样更多感人的故事呢，都是出自于 Barry Morrow 的笔下。今天的对话好莱坞，我们就来走进这位奥斯卡奖最佳编剧的创作历程。
我很高兴见到你。
雨人是巴里·莱文森1988年执导的一部剧情电影，由 Dustin Hoffman 和 Tom Cruise 主演。影片中，查理发现父亲将遗产留给了患自闭症的哥哥 Raymond， 便计划骗取这笔财富，并计划利用哥哥超强的记忆力去赌博赢钱。但在此过程中，血缘的亲情打破了原有的疏离，真挚动人的手足之情取代了查理原先只为一己私利的私心。
Rain Man was a story about two brothers and a family that was estranged, broken, hurt.They didn't even know each other. And yet, at the end of the movie, they are brothers. They're back together. That's why Rain Man is so appealing to not just the US, but to Asian culture audiences, Western culture audiences. Around the world, everyone knows that movie because it's about family.
雨人的故事情节大致是这样：查理的父亲去世，留下了300万美元的遗产。然而令他意外的是，遗产全部给了一个他不认识的哥哥 Raymond。Raymond 的名字查理从来没有听过，这个事件让他气愤不已。他决定前去寻找哥哥，谁知 Raymond 的住处就在一个精神病院里。原来他自幼患有自闭症，母亲去世后就被送到精神病院治疗。查理心中有了计算，他把 Raymond 带出精神病院，企图骗他让出遗产。Raymond 的生活习惯非常奇异，活在自己幻想的世界里，有许多离奇古怪的行为。并且查理在共处中发现 Raymond 惊人的记忆能力，他试着利用哥哥过目不忘的本领去赌场上试一下身手，赢得了一大笔奖金，这使查理足以摆脱穷困的生活。而令查理收获更大的是，他还获得了慢慢升温的亲情，这种手足亲情远远胜过了他原先图谋的300万的遗产。电影中 Barry Morrow 在创作患有自闭症、行为古怪但记忆力惊人的 Raymond 这个角色的时候，灵感来自于现实生活中的一位真实人物 Kim Peek。 他是一名来自美国犹他州盐湖城的自闭症患者，他拥有超长的记忆力，被人们称之为专家，精通从文学到历史在内的15门学科，能一字不漏地背诵至少9000本书的内容。
And you actually wrote this story based on a real person, Kim Peek.Yes. Who inspired the story. Tell us a little bit of your relationship with him.
Well, Kim is a person who is unique. And doctors who studied him while he was alive, he died about 6 years ago, they say that there has never been a human being like him before, ever. And that there may never be another human being like him. He is so different and unique, the way his brain is. If you see his brain on X-ray, MRI, it doesn't look like your brain or my brain.
Why?
There's pieces that are missing, and then there are other places where there's other things going on. He was born very differently, and so he learned very differently. But what he could do with his brain, we can't even begin to imagine. Now, he was very disabled in some ways. When he shaved every day, he only shaved this side, never this side. His father had to.
Oh.
He didn't ever think about that side. He didn't know where the family's forks or spoons or knives were. He didn't know where they were. He didn't care where they were. They were always there where he needed them when he needed to eat. What he loved was books. and telephone books and any kind of reading material. And he would read hundreds of books every day. And when he read them, everything stayed in his brain. He didn't forget anything.
Wow.
He could read a book like this, each page in about 8 seconds. Okay? He'd just go like this.
He's a genius. Wow.
And now he knows this forever. But when he wanted to read faster, he would read this page with his left eye and this page with his right eye at the same time.
Oh.
He could read 2 different books
Jeez.
at the same time. He could read them upside down. He could read them in a mirror. It didn't matter.
Wow.
The way his brain was, he's like a scanner.
And he
There it is.
memorizes everything.
And there it is, forever. Can never leave. So when he died at the age of about 56, I think, he had in his brain what a library has. You know, in the movie, people who've seen the movie, there's a scene where the Dustin Hoffman character, Rain Man, is given a phone book and said, read this. And so he stays up at night and he reads a phone book. Well, in Kim Peek, that was his hobby. He would read phone books and memorize all the names and phone numbers.
Oh, gosh.
Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of names and phone numbers. And he'll never forget. So when you meet somebody like this in your life, as a writer, my first thought was, I have to come up with a story for Kim Peek. And that story was Rain Man.
当 Peek 1951年出生的时候，医生发现在他的头颅左侧有一个水泡，此后对全脑部的扫描发现许多异常，联系左右半脑的胼胝体根本不存在，大脑前部和后部的连接也有缺失，左脑半球显示出异常，小脑比常人的小，为液体包围而显得异常。Peek 的父母始终没有放弃他，并以全部的爱心带他融入这个社会。当 Peek 16月大的时候，他的父母就像一般家长一样，开始读诵一些书籍给他听，而且边念边拉着 Peek 的手，顺着每一本书的内容划过这些字里行间。没想到 Peek 竟能记下父母念的每一本书，立即将方才听到的内容说出来。他的脑子就像一个庞大的资料库，可以过目不忘，还能自动搜索。父亲从 Peek 青少年时期便带着他四处去社区的机构担任义工。1969年，18岁的 Peek 被父亲安排到一个针对成年残障人士的研究机构工作，而他竟可以不必使用计算器，就能够精确地计算每名员工工作时所该领的薪水。此后，他又跟着父亲在许多社区的残障服务中心担任义工，以自己的例子为所有肢体与心灵智障的人带来了欢乐。
How did you get to know him or other people who inspired you for other stories?
Well, I go up to them and I say hello. I say ni hao, and then I find out about them. But I also volunteer for different groups, especially disability groups, because I find people who have a disability, that they work harder in the other areas of their life. If they can't walk, they have to find a way to get someplace. You know, if they can't see, they learn the world in a different way. So they are more interesting to me than just an average person. But even the average person has in their heart pain, hopes, dreams, fears. And this is what we all take when we make a story.
Right.
We take these things. Usually it's pain. Everyone has pain in their life. And at every age we have pain. We have pain when we're a teenager. You know, we have pain when we're old. You know, And we have pain when we're raising a family, and there are problems. And we have pain over money and finances and all of this. This is the stuff that you make movies from, is pain. Because everyone wants to get rid of the pain. And so that's what a movie is about, is getting rid of pain.
直到1987年 Peake 的生活出现了重大的转折。当时 Barry Morrow 从 Peake 的个性中汲取灵感，创作了描写自闭症天才雨人与手足兄弟真情的感人故事《雨人》。电影《雨人》由好莱坞著名影星 Dustin Hoffman 和 Tom Cruise 主演，最终荣获1988年奥斯卡最佳影片等4项大奖。Hoffman 因成功塑造雨人赢得了奥斯卡影帝。影片播出后引起了很大的关注。1988年北美地区票房1.72亿美元，除了囊括了1989年的第61届奥斯卡最佳影片等4项大奖之外，还拿下了金球奖、金熊奖等多个大奖。雨人在第61届奥斯卡金像奖获得8项提名及4项大奖，包括最佳影片、最佳导演、最佳男主角以及最佳原创剧本。当 Barry Morrow 与共同编剧 Ronald Bass 一起走上奥斯卡的领奖台，他说
Thank you, Academy members, and thank you, United Artists and the Cooper Peters Company. In particular, I'd like to thank Tony Thomopoulos and Roger Birnbaum and Stan Brooks. And to Dustin and Tom and Barry and Mark, my heartfelt gratitude for making the movie and for breathing life into these characters and into this script. And to Gary Loder, and Mark Tingloff and Mike Adler, and to Bev and Clay and Zoe, my love for your forbearance, and to Kim, and finally to Marna for her courage. I thank you so very much.
And you are such a award-winning, amazing screenwriter. Which award means to you the most?
The truth is, when I was 9 years old, I played on a baseball team, and I threw what they call a no-hitter. That meant nobody hit the ball. Everybody went out, and at the end of the game, they gave me the ball, and they all signed it. I don't give that away.
Really?
Yeah, that's my biggest prize.
What does that mean to you?
It was the first time I felt like I had done something really, really well.
Oh.
That's all. So, of course, the Oscar means the most to a person's career. When I die, it will say, Oscar-winning writer Barry Morrow is dead. That will be the first thing they say. So I guess that's the most important. But for me, other accomplishments are, I just had my 46th wedding anniversary 2 days ago. That's pretty big accomplishment. So it's hard for me to say. I didn't worship the Oscar.
Really?
You can't worship it.
How does that feel when that moment came?
Well, that's wonderful. You know, everybody applauds, you're up there, thank you. And then the next day, of course, telegrams, back in those days they had telegrams, flowers, champagne, your house is happy and full. But a week later, or 2 weeks later, a month later, it's just you again. It's you, your wife, your kids, or whoever, your dog, and your computer. You start over. If you keep looking over your shoulder, oh, I won an Oscar. Yes, I won an Oscar. You're dead. You can't write anything. You have to forget that. This new script, this new project, you're beginning your student all over again, trying to make it good.
电影给 Kim Peake 的生活带来巨大的改变。 当社会各界知道《与人一篇》是以 Peak 的经历为蓝本之后，竞相对他发出邀请。父亲带着他到全美许多社区、中小学、大学、福利机构演讲与拜访，而且不收取演说酬劳。Peak 与父亲10多年来不断奔走，最终的目的是希望告诉社会大众有关自闭症的种种，以及分享 Peak 的个人经历。Peak 和他的父亲成为了残障人的使者，这些年来已经有260万人分享 Kim Peak 的故事。由于这部电影 Barry Morrow 成为了奥斯卡获奖编剧，同时他也做出了一个惊人的决定，就是把小金人送给了 Kim Peak。
The film Rain Man won you an Oscar and you gave that statuette to Kim.
I did. Kim came by the house with his father, and I'd had the Oscar for about a year at my office, and it was on a shelf, and he said, "Let me see the Oscar, Barry." And I took it down and I gave it to him, and he said, "Hello, Oscar. I'm Kim Peak. I'm Rain Man." And he held it like a child. And at the end of the day, I decided he needs it more than me.
That was such a touching moment. I mean,
yeah. And he died, so I could have it back, but I decided instead that I would gift it to the state where he lived in Utah, and they're going to build in their new cinema building. They're going to have a display of the Oscar and the story of Kim there with it. And more people can learn his story that way than if the Oscar was just on my shelf in my office.
So you give also some of your other awards to different organizations.
I do, for the same reason. I enjoy having my picture taken, but then that's it. You know, so my Emmy I gave to the University of Iowa, where Bill, the first person I told you about, where he worked when I found him a job, and the students see this every day and they learn about him, and this way it keeps his story alive. It's a way to honor him. Well, 31 years ago, I had a big idea, and that was to make a documentary film about that other man with the beard there. His name was Bill.
44 years in an institution, unable to read or write, no family, no place in society. An unlikely friendship changed his life forever.
As I walked toward him, his eyes lit up. He jumped to his feet, he thrust out his hand, and he said, "Hey, buddy, my name's Bill."
His story inspired millions. Now meet the real Bill Sachter.
Hey, it's getting cold, you know that? Should put that wig on.
We got Wild Bill over here, ladies and gentlemen, so let's give him a great big hand, get him up here to play a song for us. Come on up, Bill. There is no beer. No beer. That's why Bill drinks it.
We did a little rock and roll and shake the boogies, and we had fun.
All he needed was a little help from his friends.
He should have been a bartender, you know, so being an entrepreneur of a little coffee shop was the next best thing we could find.
He didn't see himself as disabled, he just saw himself as good old Bill.
He loved children.
And he loved the role of Santa Claus.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, up some salt one sleigh. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, up down the salt one sleigh.
Bill was really a big leader in a movement, unbeknownst to him, of normalizing people's reactions to people with disabilities.
Please clap when I play it.
But the secrets of his past.
He told me what he could about his life. That he'd been in some place that he doesn't like to talk about.
Never stopped him from embracing life.
If you see pictures of Bill when we first met him, compared to the distinguished gentleman in the end, there's quite a difference.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. to see you all. God bless everybody.
He was a little man who made coffee, and he played the harmonica. And that was enough.
A truly inspiring documentary about friendship, compassion, and hope. A Friend Indeed, the Bill Sachter story.
So what do you want your audience to take from your films?
What do I want them to take? I think I want them to examine their lives and to be better people. I mean, everybody needs to be better. We all try hard. But a lot of times we're very selfish about ourselves. And it's understandable. We have to take care of ourselves first before you can even take care of a child. But the things the themes of my movies are universal themes. Like I said, the unity of the family, the idea of taking care of your fellow citizens as if they were your brothers or your sisters. I'm a very idealistic person.
Idealistic person?
Yeah. I want the world to be better. I want wars to end. I want people to feed their children, to be educated, to be free, to be responsible citizens. But the best way to teach is not through telling people what to do or here are the rules, but to do it through stories.
Through their heart, right.
And you reach the heart through stories. And so I try not to preach, because I'm a student myself still. I am not a master. As so often the students call me in China, they say, "Master," and they ask a question. I don't feel like I am a master yet. If I live longer, maybe someday.
Barry Morrow 告诉我们要从生活中以及与人的交往中来发现美的故事，这就是他创作的源泉。好了，本期对话好莱坞就是这样，我是肖云，我们下周再见，拜拜。